The true death of freedom was silent. It was not recorded on monuments, but sketched into the desert, waiting for the first accountant to arrive. This is the ledger of servitude. It began with a cold, invisible cipher. The earliest contract of debt, etched not in stone, but in the brittle clay of Mesopotamia. A simple promise, a devastating trap. 4,000 years ago, the ziggurat of Babylon was the highest point on earth, a towering symbol of power, where spiritual devotion quickly merged with economic control. Inside, the temple was the ultimate vault, a shadow-draped central bank. The priests, the original custodians of trust, guarded the grain and the silver, the very lifeblood of the empire. Their most lethal invention was a simple stroke of the stylus. The act of recording not just the principal loan, but something more. The mechanism of inevitable increase. It wasn't gold that became humanity's master. It was the cold, relentless mathematics of time, applied to borrowed grain, a physics of finance that guaranteed servitude. When the harvest failed, the desperate came. They needed survival. The temple offered the first loan, a lifeline that felt benevolent, until the terms were sealed. They called it sibtu, the increase, a negligible percentage added to the repayment. But beneath that small number lay a catastrophic truth, a system designed to take more than it gave. The debt compounded. A small loan of grain soon demanded an impossible repayment. The farmers, unable to pay, had only one asset left to pledge. The priests, the silent bankers, never had to raise an army. They simply waited. The physics of compound interest would deliver the kingdom's workforce, one indebted family at a time. This was the Trojan horse of economic control, a quiet, lethal invention that changed the structure of civilization forever, casting a shadow that only grew longer. The records were meticulous, not chains but ledgers. The true history of servitude was encoded not in dungeons, but in these ancient, unyielding tablets of debt. This Babylonian template was copied across millennia. It traveled with the silent speed of commerce, an immutable law of financial physics spread by sea and sand. The Phoenician traders didn't just carry spices and silk. They carried the method, the creation of a currency, and the establishment of a cost for its use. It matured in the shadows of ancient Rome, refined by cynical eyes. The control was exerted not through force, but through the subtle, inescapable leverage of debt. In medieval Europe, the secretive merchant guilds perfected it further. Always the same method: watch the masses migrate willingly, from owning their production to owing their existence. The focus remained constant, the meticulous, isolated refinement of the system, ensuring control was exerted not by overt political power, but through financial physics. The currency changed, from bronze to gold, from paper to digital symbols, but the engine of control, the sibtu, remained precisely the same. Today, the temples are replaced by grand institutions bearing national titles. The ultimate vault now is steel and concrete, heavily secured and far more imposing. The clay tablets are now digital zeros and ones, moving instantaneously across fiber optic cables. But the system is still governed by the same ancient geometry of debt. The grand deception. Look closely at the modern currency, and you see the shadow of Babylon, the ancient command for increase, hidden in the structure of the dollar itself. We are now globally bound by sovereign debt, the ultimate, perfected form of the Babylonian model, transferred across the world at the speed of light. Governments, like the ancient farmers, borrow from the modern temple. A network of interconnected, private central banks and institutional lenders. This debt is measured in trillions, exponentially larger. And the catastrophic truth of sibtu ensures it can never be truly repaid. The money required to pay the interest often exceeds the total money supply in circulation. We are bound by invisible chains, secured to the foundations of the global system. When a nation takes on debt, it pledges the future labor of its citizens. Every tax dollar paid services not the infrastructure, but the interest payments on this ancient ledger. The modern equivalent of pawning their children. The fine print on every budget, every tax form, confirms the rule of the increase. Every hour worked, every machine turned, every fruit of global production flows silently toward the vortex, the perpetual, interest-driven machine for concentrating wealth. The original sin remains, taking a tangible, finite resource, human time, human energy, and subjecting it to an infinite, compounding mathematical demand. The empire is now the entire planet. The fruit of our labor flows eternally toward the apex of the pyramid, the entities who control the issuance and the price of money itself. The power is silent, It is not wielded by armies or speeches, but through instantaneous, invisible leverage, a financial magic hidden from the masses. The global debt ceiling is not a political crisis. It is the physical, inescapable chasm, the manifestation of Babylon's original, devastating financial truth, an inescapable lattice. The entire world is now bound by a complex web of compounding interest. The true structure of global control. The true secret of banking is not distribution. It is perpetual concentration. The system is designed to extract, silently and efficiently, from the base to the top. The ziggurat of Babylon has crumbled into dust, yet its immense shadow still falls across every modern balance sheet, every sterile financial lobby. The machine never sleeps, even in the dead of night. The monitors are alive, tracking the relentless accumulation of debt that ensures the system's longevity. The most valuable asset in the modern vault is not gold or diamonds, but the pledged future labor and resources of the human population, our very time. The global ledger carries a number so vast it seems to stretch into infinity, permanent. Unpayable balance sheet that dominates all governmental planning, from the silver rings of Sumer to the digital coin icon. The law has remained constant. Each financial era casts a longer, darker shadow of economic debt. Our global production, our energy, our flowing economic lifeblood, it is all subject to a hidden command, a silent mechanism that demands its eternal tithe. Look through the surface of modern finance. The glass of the skyscraper, the screen of the trading terminal. The ancient truth is not gone. It is simply better hidden. Human time, the most precious finite resource, is what is being perpetually claimed. The hourglass rests on the tower of debt, ticking down our economic freedom. The digital clay tablets. Vast halls of silent machines hold the entire global ledger, preserving the record of who owes what, and who is owed everything. The kingdom is now the entire planet. The lines of sovereign debt crisscross the globe, creating a map of total, invisible financial control. The final digit clicks. The last act of the debt system is simply to consume the frame, leaving no room for escape, no possibility of final repayment. The physical enslavement is gone. The economic enslavement is the ultimate invisibility cloak. The vault door closes, sealing the system around the future of human labor. The increase demands its due. The shadow of Babylon still falls across every modern balance sheet, demanding its eternal tithe of human time.